Reese Senior. Father, how you doing? You all right?
Great,
You
great.
good?
Coach, remind me,
You
where
look, you're in good shape. You lost some weight on
a little bit.
a little bit. I can tell.
Not enough to please the doctor.
You've been working out,
No, just walking. Doing a lot of
a lot of walking, drink a lot of water.
Probably not as much as I should.
Right, right. Yeah, I drink a lot of water now. Doesn't do me no good though. Just make me get up at night.
Yes, that's for sure.
How
That's
you
an age
doing?
thing, isn't it?
Calvin Lee.
Larry Rizika, nice to meet you.
Rizika. There's a long line of Rizikas here.
There's a lot of Rizika.
Yes, sir. I know a few of them.
Do you?
Yes, sir. Kevin and
Yeah,
yeah.
Kevin's here. I hadn't seen
So
him
is
in a
Ted
few
your
years.
brother?
Cousin.
Cousin, okay.
There were 3 different Rizika, there's actually 4 different Rizika families that went through,
Oh, you're a basketball player.
a couple of years.
Couple of years.
Mainly football. It was all fun, though.
All right. How you doing, sir?
Brother?
Oh, brother, how you doing?
Great.
Good to see you.
You too.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Brother Leo. Larry Rizika, good to see you again.
I wanted to take up the collection,
Yeah, I almost said something about that,
but I knew you wouldn't split it with me, so I didn't do it.
We're not splitting with you, brother.
He was split it with you? Great.
Great. So the shares stand out.
This is just an amazing place.
When we first came to Chaminade, when we would have school masses, we would have them over in the what do we call that, Coach? The gym, I guess, the athletic
Athletic
trot.
yes, sir.
And,
The Tron.
they would send over like 100 guys at 7:45, and we'd have to set up for mass in about 15 minutes. And we can't. And then we moved the masses over here, and I mean, I felt like I was an executive. I didn't have to. You know, when you have that many boys that are trying to set up for a mass, you got to have the rows kind of all lined up. You know,
Mr. Prag.
Yeah.
you would hope that they would follow it. Hello.
Mr. Prag.
Uh,
Pick and roll.
He's not here right
Picking and rolling tonight.
now. Yes.
Picking and rolling, sir. Nice to meet you.
Father?
Good to see you. Greetings to you.
Sir?
Should have a Chaminade title, don't you, very confused. There's a black one.
CC, they don't have a.
Hello there, Oscar.
Greetings to you,
How
sir.
you?
Good to see you.
How you doing?
All right.
Yeah, how you know what Hall of Fame to go to? You got so many.
I know, how about that? How about that? Thank you, sir, thank you. I'm just getting old, that's all.
We call you a
Oh,
wisdom.
Larry.
We call you a
Quite a
wisdom
while ago.
figure.
Wisdom?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Still live in Southside?
Still living in Southside.
So you guys are in the back
I've been there my whole life, basically. We're starting to look for a retirement home.
Oh, really?
Like Carol can't go up and down the steps anymore in our house. And she's scared to death of that stuff, so. We're starting to do that, so. And that means we're getting older.
That's it. Well, we all are.
Hey, Mr. Nolden?
Yes.
The guy came by and he said the clickers on the doohickey thingy there. That's a real technical statement.
Doohickey.
The doohickey thingy there.
Is there any water back here?
I have water.
Greetings, congratulations to you. And congratulations to you.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you.
Doing all right, Oscar?
Yeah,
How you young men doing? All the young men back there, how you young men doing back there?
We're doing great. How's you, Coach?
Coach Lee, nice to meet you guys. How you doing, man?
I'm more of a back row guy, but that's okay.
Did you get down to the? I'm gonna take plates. Coach, did you get down to the state championship a couple weeks ago?
No, I didn't get a chance to go.
Okay, we went and saw
Do you know
CBC
the brother
play
Leo?
my.
I do know. Hall of Fame inductee, Brother Leo Slay.
His claim to fame, he'll tell you, is he
Fire,
learned to count
far,
on.
They had that big kid in the middle.
I've heard that too.
When they got him, that was
Yeah,
solidified.
your claim to fame is you
very
ran the
athletic.
Chaminade
Yeah,
Cup.
Just trying to figure out if we've ever met before.
18 years.
But you're legendary. A legend.
Okay. So I'm going to give them all their blazers at the same time. Okay. We've never done that before where we give the team the blazers and put them on them, but we're going to this time since there's only 5 of them.
Okay.
And he's just going to get it. So.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is the quietest group of inductees I've ever heard. It's never this easy. Here are some things that you need to know. Each one of you will be called up one at a time by Dr. Guidry, our MC and president of Chaminade, if you haven't met him already. Golf team, you guys are going first. In the script, he's going to say, you guys will come up and get your jackets. We're going to start in alpha order, and I'm going to give you each of your jackets, and then just go back to your seats. And then Coach Prag will come up and speak for you guys. Everyone else, it'll just go, Mr. Bellman, you'll be second, and then after that, it'll go in order of graduation year. So it'll be Brother Leo and so forth. There are plaques, and I will say this, I failed in September to give anyone their plaques until the end. So if I don't give the first person their plaque, which is you guys, and you all have one, let me know, because I don't want to get caught not doing that again and then scrambling to get pictures of them at the end with you.
Dave, I'm sorry, did you say we all come up together?
They'll come up one at a time.
Oh, okay.
You'll come up one at a time to get the coats. I'll just
Okay.
present you Clayton's.
Okay.
But you actually have a seat back there
Back
with the
there?
team.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
Because you just took the president's seat.
You're more than welcome to sit there. There's no problem. I'm happy to sit back there.
Oh, my waiting.
So, yeah, you guys will come up one at a time to get your coats then, and then you'll speak for 3 to 5 minutes or so. It's a small class, so you're able to speak a little longer. Normally, we try to hold you to the 3. There are hats on this table that one for each of you that you can pick up at the end. There are 2 ways to go to the restroom. You can go out behind the curtain and go out the door, and then turn right and go down the hall, and then just come back in that same way. You can also go out behind this curtain, out this door, and there's like a 1 stall right outside there. That one's closer. It's just totally up to you. I have water. I'm going to pass out when I'm done. Errol Christian here is from our campus ministry department. He's our photographer tonight. When you get your plaque, and this is again why I'm reminding you, just step over here so Errol can get a quick picture of you with your plaque. And we'll probably do a golf group when you get your plaques and coats there. There is a PowerPoint that's going to be up here. It's going to have the same pictures that are on your name tags, so there's not really a lot to see, so you don't have to crane your necks to look up there. There's no video, it's just pictures and names, so it'll go in the right order. And then at the end, we want to get a group photo of everyone, so don't rush off, because it's so good to have the group photo. And then after this event, sometime this week or next, we will put everything online. It's being streamed. I sent you guys a link to that earlier today. So it's being streamed. It'll also be recorded at that same link. And then we'll put up photos from tonight that I'll get from Errol. And then I'll send that link out to you as well. So that's pretty much everything you need. Any questions? That's pretty much it. And Dr. Guidry will get it started when we're ready to go. You guys are so quiet. It's amazing. And I will
have enough time to use the restroom now?
Yeah, you have plenty of time to use the restroom. We have 7 minutes before we're supposed to get started. And that's just how quickly they can corral everyone in here.
My question is, do you have a different set of glasses for whatever because like those are red for Chaminade.
They're my Chaminade Reds. I usually wear black. So, yep, I bust these out for special Chaminade events. And I got them right before COVID, so this is only the 2nd or 3rd event I've worn them for. What are you doing?
Nothing. Knock it off. Online and once in person. He's the accountant of the bunch.
We will use the term.
I actually do. I think I have it at work. I do actually. Training. I was going to bring the
Frank.
That's what I, you know, that's what I put that together.
I have a book with all my music.
Are you based here in St. Louis?
No, I'm actually in Dallas.
Oh, how about that?
Been in Texas for, I think it's 30 years.
I lived in Fort Worth from 93 to 2002. I was there in high school.
Nolan was it?
Nolan, yes.
I had a lot of friends that went there.
And so I was there those 9 years. Wonderful years. I loved being there. And a lot of stuff culturally to do. Oh, okay.
Moved back to St. Louis and then worked for Southwestern Bell Telephone Company headquarters for San Antonio.
I remember that. I was in San Antonio when that move came. You know.
It was fun to go back to San Antonio. My family had to go there.
Yes. I mean, for me, you know, Fort Worth is a different world. It's amazing because there's some things where people from Fort Worth think nothing about what they did out Friday night or whatever. And other folks from Dallas get it. So the other side of the world.
There's a lot of people in Dallas that think the same thing.
Yeah.
It is like people just stay in their bubbles.
Yes.
And there's a lot of bubbles.
Well, I once I helped out at Our Lady Pillar for a while, and one of the moms was complaining about something. She was the treasurer for the Mothers Club, and having to go to the branch bank. And I said to her, "Listen, you know, there's really one just outside of 270." And she said to me, "Mom, you don't understand. I live in Oakville. In 170 and 270 bubble." And I thought to myself, "You gotta be kidding me." She said, "Oh yeah." And there's some people out here can only go to the city for Eagles games and Cardinals games.
Wait, one. Jay and I met her. We went to lunch.
She's doing okay. He has the shakes. You know, talking out front.
I will, if someone were to say, let's go to this, I'd be like,
Yeah, let's not. He's a character. There's some of the brothers say that they should take credit for theology credit for what he preaches in mass.
His philosophy of logic was one of the first guys. It's crazy.
Did you understand?
I can't remember that I did understand.
With Franz,
He's on a plane.
well, I would say a whole
They're supposed to round
different,
them up.
whole different planet.
they're rounding them up.
To this day, he's the same way.
He's probably in his 80s.
Yes. Yes, but he 3 days.
You know who he kind of reminds me of?
Over to the St. Louis sisters and has mass for them, and then 2 days a week says mass. And they're at the big community center. Is fairly active. You ask him about something going on campus, and he'll tell you.
So he's still on
like sometimes the musicals would be out there.
He hasn't changed.
If you can come to one every once in a while, you know.
Why would I be out there during music?
That's true.
And I've come.
He does such a great job.
Have you?
And then we have two guys from Mexico there right now studying English, and he always, because he knows Spanish, he can help them
It just keeps rolling in. I think every year you got some coffee.
feel a little more.
All right, what's the score? 79-65. I'm a graduate kid. Oh, all right. I'm a Xavier graduate.
Yes.
I'm like, well, you know what's worse than when you losing. So let's say like that's a great thing. Well, good. Well, I hope they win. Are they winning? They are. Yeah. So I'll be a happy camper. Yeah. They're playing
Mr.
Villanova.
Golden, did you say that? Say something?
It's 35. Yeah.
All you need.
Are you a self guy? You like to self?
It's not 3 minutes.
Race pickup.
Seven.
No, never.
So it's less.
I got one.
That'll be okay.
What do you think?
Illinois, Tulsa. I didn't even know anything else. He wasn't Illinois
Coach Hayes in
because he left Illinois for struggle with Illinois.
I think so. I hope it's not. Yeah.
I used to get there's a restaurant.
It's great to see Hubert Davis.
He's your probably as well as small way. Yeah. Going out that exit and then to the right.
How are you enjoying giving all these speeches and going that?
It's all good. Probably the easiest part of the job. It's not like it's so full round. It feels just reading. You know? It's all work.
Hey, you serve shrimp like that, and I can come in here.
Food is good. And drinking out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll be good for a while. Yeah. Yeah, we have a, the master plan has a very course that is far more. Yeah, but it's, the pipe dream. It's like we usually have this work. Oh, these things are better than one out to eat. So they're a little out of our league, but actually I had a classmate of mine actually work on this one. Is that right? Yeah. Who do you work with? H Design now is with Leader. Oh, okay. Smaller commercial residential. You do master plan stuff for organizations? Yeah. We do a lot, mostly multifamily, like assisted living, apartments, stuff like that. Oh, really? So 10 buildings and pools and marinas. We're doing a sports complex down right there by the airport. My son plays for the club.
He was dressed for the occasion tonight.
Life is working.
Straight from work, that's right.
I said to him about a week to 10 days ago, or no, 2 weeks ago, I said to him, he was night at dinner, he said, "Hey, it's starting to get pretty crappy outside, it's probably time for baseball."
The baseball season. Yeah.
And I was just thinking, Mr. Spurs, all right, it's cold or it's rainy, it must be baseball.
Yeah. Well, he went on he lost 5 in a row, and then won a doubleheader today. So hopefully he'll get a turn. They had they gave up like 5 runs and 1 hit. I think they got a pretty rough go at pitching. But Charlie Weber's a senior. He turned in a perfect game today.
That's what he said. He got that going for it.
21 outs.
Amazing.
My dad still talks about when he came to you, I think.
How was the fish fry traffic been?
It was okay, actually it was pretty good yesterday, but not one of the high.
It's not an easy course.
You know, they're affected by the week. There's 1 week for public school. And if they overlap, what's your home in the middle?
Dead.
That could be painful. George had his hip surgery. And, he was saying, well, I'm hoping they go into the nursing rehab. He didn't have much of a choice. He ended up over by that house. I said, what's that? It's way out here, Mark. Famous live up there. I said, what is that? He said, oh, Mark and Mary Ellen.
Yeah, right. That's us.
He said, yeah, Nazareth.
That's where Stephanie's mom was too.
No, they sent him to Versus. Went to see him.
Good.
Sartori.
I will. He's one of the good guys. His son and my son are both 6th graders. For last year. Schmidt,
That was
Dietrich, Margie.
Wow.
Maybe it. Supplement. Retirement.
There were 6 too.
Everybody sit on this side. You go on the trash. Go sit on that side.
Yeah, she does have a mobilizing.
Who is the 6th? I was trying to figure it out yesterday.
She's great. They're very excited about the hires for both Pro and Schmidt. Carl Schmidt turned his head. Remember Carl? He was discerning a little bit. Yeah, he was all in, and then this very serious growth. They had to choose what Kansas City team was. She was at Kansas City, so they chose Kansas City.
Looks like it's going to you. Nice. Am I up?
Yep, right now. Good evening. Good evening. I'm Todd Guidry. I'm the president of Chaminade, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2022 Chaminade Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. With a lengthy break between the 2019 ceremony and the 2020-21 event that we held in September, tonight we're back on track as we celebrate our 11th induction class. And we have a lot to celebrate tonight, the least of which is the group of men and their families sitting behind me tonight. It includes 6 individuals and 2 extraordinary state championship golf teams. And before we begin our ceremony, let's begin with prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Loving God, we come to you tonight grateful for our many gifts and for the many gifts of our lives. We're grateful for our friends and our family and for those that we love. We give you thanks for the Chaminade community and the role that the school has played in forming and shaping the men gathered here today. We ask your blessings on our time together, that as we celebrate the accomplishments of the years past, you give us the inspiration to continue to do your good work in our days to come. We pray for the intentions of those gathered here tonight, and please hear and answer our prayers. And we ask for the intercession of Blessed Father Chaminade in our prayer today. We ask these things for Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And tonight's also a celebration of the history of Chaminade's exceptional academic and athletics programs. And we added to our sports history this year. Our football team, our outstanding football team, they won a district championship. Matthew Judkins from the class of 2024 took first place in the 100 butterfly at the state meet. Trey Cunine from the class of 24 placed second in the 500 freestyle. 2 cross-country runners and 3 wrestlers qualified for state. Our basketball team took 4th place at state this year, and many of our student athletes were named all-conference, all-region, and all-state. We're immensely proud of these young guys. As we know, there are more than a few future Hall of Famers among them. I'd like to take a minute and congratulate Coach Antoine Torrey, our head football coach, is here on his district championship. Coach Frank Bennett is here tonight. Congrats to both of those men, and as always, grateful for their work. I'd also like to take a minute to recognize all of our previous Hall of Fame inductees, some of whom are with us tonight. They're wearing their bright red blazers. Gentlemen, if you would, please stand and be recognized. And so let's get started. Our first inductee for the Chaminade Sports Hall of Fame, the class of 2022, is the 1997 and 1998 state championship golf teams. Each year, the selection committee inducts a special team into the Chaminade Sports Hall of Fame, but we've never inducted 2 teams in the same induction class. And this year is different because Coach Jim Prag led the same 5 golfers. Matt Cape and Justin Hopp of the class of 98, Clayton Peters of the class of 2000, Andy Poe and Mike Sabo of the class of 98. Coach Prag led these men to state, and they won 2 consecutive state championships. In 1997, the team posted a 10-1-1 record and were MCC co-champs. They won the MCC tournament districts. They captured first at state over runner-up Helias Catholic. Mike Sabo, who was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2011, won the first place individual medal, and teammate Justin Hopp took second. It doesn't seem like a team could improve on that success, but then came the 1998 perfect season. With a record of 11-0, the team won the MCC tournament again, but this time stood alone atop the conference. They won districts and captured first place finish at state again over Helias. Mike Sabo took first, and all of his teammates medaled as well. Andy Poe was 5th, Justin Hopp and Clayton Peters tied for 7th, and Matt Capen placed 13th. Incredible doesn't begin to describe that 2-year championship reign. And with that, gentlemen, please come forward. Unfortunately, Clayton Peters is unable to be with us tonight, but his mom, Ann, is here in his place. So, Miss Peters and gentlemen, please come forward and receive your blazers. Stand by, I'll give you the blazers. No problem. This takes a lot longer when it's a basketball or soccer or football team. So.
Basketball team.
Yeah. We now present the 1997 and 1998 state championship golf team for induction into the Chaminade Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Good job, man. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Hall of Fame coach Jim Prag to come forward and share his reflections for the team.
Back in the 1980s, winning a state championship in any sport at Chaminade was a rare event. In fact, when the 1988 golf team won a state title, it was only the third time in our school's long history that any team had done so. Since that time, Chaminade has entered an era of athletic excellence to go along with excellence in education and helping young men to become quality human beings. Chaminade now has numerous state championship banners hoisted in the gym to go along with trophy cases chock full of awards for athletic accomplishments. Quite an athletic history that the entire Chaminade family is proud of. Tonight's 1997 and 98 golf team inductees are now part of this proud tradition of winning with class. This group of young men was special from the first time they stepped on the golf courts for tryouts their freshman year. As any golfer I have ever coached over 33 years of coaching will eagerly tell you, I did not help them very much with their technical golf skills. And I heard someone laughing back there. And that's for sure. That was left to the golf pros and their fathers, and who most of these guys got lessons from growing up. But I did know a good golfer when I saw one. At the first day of tryouts, I saw 3 freshmen who became the backbone of the team for the ensuing 4 years. Sabo, Hopt, and Capon. It was rare for a freshman to make the varsity squad, but these 3 players not only made the varsity their first year, they led the team in average as freshmen. By the time their junior and senior years rolled around, opposing coaches, when they saw our lineup card, they would say, Sabo, Hopt, and Capon, haven't those guys graduated yet? And with a wry smile, I would simply say, nope, they've got 2 more years left. And they would give it a sad expression on their faces. As the teams progressed, 2 more guys, Andy Poe, Clayton Peters, improved their game greatly and joined these 3 to form the powerhouse team we honor tonight. Their remarkable statistics are listed in tonight's program, and Mr. Guidry mentioned some of those, especially the 1998 season, which was a perfect season. A rare feat indeed. And I did this a long time, and that didn't happen very often. I would be remiss not to mention several anecdotes from these 2 championship seasons. First, Mike Szabo's back-to-back first-place finishes at the state tournaments. I can still picture our players and family members all gathered around the 18th green as stoic Mike calmly walked up to his ball and sank a must-have 18-foot putt to win his 2nd consecutive state title. This was unheard of. Mike, in an interview, said it was a thrill, but not as much as the team winning the title. That's the kind of young man he was and is today. Somebody to be especially proud of. And Mike's sister, somewhere in the audience, is also a state champion when she played at Viz somewhere. There she is right there. They should be giving you a red jacket somewhere, whatever Viz's colors are. Second, flashback to the 1997 state tournament. Andy Poe shot the worst round of his career on day one of the tournament. A disappointing 93. Sorry to bring that up, Andy. My wife made me change the name from, I had a different term in there, but she said disappointing sounded better. That night, we all went to the driving range to relax a little bit, and everyone encouraged and offered tips to Andy. Some of the team's fathers were there who helped as team members. They gave him a lot of encouragement, and guess what? That encouragement paid off. He posted a great round of 75 the next day. That's an 18-stroke swing to help our team win that tournament. I can still see his huge smile of relief after that performance. Third, we have Justin Hopt. Justin was not the most consistent off the tee during his high school, during the state tournament and other times as well. He was often all over the course, but somehow, some way, he was able to get up and down. He never got flustered. He'd say, "No big deal. I'll get it on the green and one putt." And he often did. He could always be counted on. Fourth, Matt Capon. Small in stature, but consistency was his forte. He was not the longest off the tee, but we always knew where to look for the ball. It was right in the middle of the fairway. His quiet determination and personal competitiveness made him an ideal teammate and a joy to be around, a real winner. And finally, Clayton Peters. Clayton was 3 years younger than his state teammates. That's a lot of pressure for a young man, but he was up to the challenge at every turn. Thank goodness his teammates did not believe in hazing, but he did have to take the worst seat in the van, going back and forth, and he always got the rollaway bed at the motel room. He did so all in good fun. Even though there were only 5 golf team members to participate in the state tournament during those 2 seasons, there were 6 or 7 others who practiced, encouraged, and pushed those 5 all season long to be the best they could be. All team members played a part in what these 5 individuals accomplished, and all share in the success that took place during the 97 and 98 championship seasons. I hope you all had fun during your time on the Chaminade golf team and while you're at Chaminade as well, and learned some valuable lessons along the way. Congratulations. It was a pleasure to be with you those 4 years. And a special thanks to all the parents for helping and supporting those fine young men throughout their careers. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Next up for induction is Stephen J. Bellman of the class of 1981. Steve was a 3-sport athlete during his time at Chaminade, playing baseball, football, and most notably basketball. Was a star player on the court for the Red Devils, and in 1980 posted 12.1 points per game with a total of 328 points scored. He also had a 50% field goal percentage that year, and in 1981, Steve led the team to a record of 19-7, Chaminade's best record in a decade, and the team won a Catholic Conference championship for the first time with a record of 9-1. Steve ranks 10th all-time in points with 1,085 and 9th in rebounds with 497. Notable names just above him in those categories are Beal, Kobe, Cook, Lee, Fobb, Lockhart, and Tatum. That's basketball royalty, of course. Unfortunately, Steve passed away in 2005, and so tonight, his brother Rick from the class of 1973 is here to accept this honor on behalf of his brother. So Rick, please come forward. We now present Stephen J. Bellman for induction into the Chaminade Sports Hall of Fame.
Good evening, everyone. Like you said, I'm Rick Bellman. I'm Steve's older brother. Steve passed away in 2005 after a battle with a medical condition that he had for about 15 years. And he really would have loved an evening like this for two reasons. He loved Chaminade, he loved the experience, he loved the people, and he always had a good time here. And the second is he would love to be wearing this red jacket around and subtly trying to get into the conversation that he was in the Hall of Fame. And those of you who are familiar with Chaminade basketball know that the 70s and 80s were a somewhat cyclical success story, and probably 81 was one of those peaks. I mean, nowadays with the teams, they're such powerhouses that people just expect it, but back in the 80s, it was not really something people counted on. But in terms of Steve in general, I mean, the one thing that always sticks in my mind about him is whether it was playing sports or whether it was just playing anything, work, whatever, is he was always the person who was trying to include everyone in the process. So if you were on his team, he was trying to make you feel like part of it, keep you inspired, keep you moving. It wasn't, you know, he only felt successful if his whole team was successful. And in that way, I think he was the kind of person who embodied that Estovere sort of Chaminade spirit. I know he would be, you know, very honored to receive this. And, you know, as his family is here representing him tonight, they're very honored to receive it on his behalf. And we do believe he's the type of person that I think the Hall of Fame can be proud of for what he's done, both athletically and as a person. And on behalf of Steve Bellman and his family, we thank Chaminade and the committee for his induction. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I'd now like to introduce Brother Leo Slay, the class of 1950. Before leaving Chaminade to join the Marianists, Brother Leo was quite the student athlete in the 1940s. He played soccer, football, and his boxing prowess is legendary. He was the featherweight boxing champion in both 1946 and 1947. On the gridiron, he was a member of the undefeated prep team in 1947 that outscored their opponents 162-23. That's pretty good. You got that, Coach Torrey? All right. And as noted in 1947 yearbook, outstanding among the players was Slay, whose tackles were hard and accurate. In addition to his accolades as a premier student athlete, Brother Leo might be even more well known among the Chaminade family for his remarkable culinary skills. He was involved in food service with the Society of Mary since 1949, and ran Chaminade's cafeteria from 1969 to 1988, serving nearly 2,500 Chaminade gentlemen during that time. And to this day, when alumni and former athletes return to campus, they still rave about the quality of their meals when Brother Leo was here. Another interesting fact that surfaced about Brother Leo during the course of our research is that for many years he traveled to armed service bases and ships worldwide to evaluate food service operations and help to raise the quality of the food served to our men and women in uniform. And Brother Leo is no stranger to halls of fame, having been inducted into the Missouri Restaurant Association's Food Service Hall of Fame in 1992. We not only honor Brother Leo's contributions, but we are proud of Brother Leo's contributions to Chaminade's athletics and his much heralded work in food service and his more than 70-year commitment to the Society of Mary. Brother Leo, please come forward and receive your blazer. It's my pleasure to present Brother Leo Slave for induction into the Chaminade Sports Hall of Fame. Here you go.
Thank you all very much. I enjoy what I was doing in the past, and I still enjoy it. And coming from a family of restaurateurs all my life, family's been in the restaurant business 112 years. One of the sports that I enjoy very much was boxing, and I was in a featherweight group. And I always remember the time when I hit one of my fighters pretty hard, and he went down on the floor and finally got up and walked away. And the next day, two other boxers in my featherweight quit. And that was some good works. And soccer at that time was a winter sport. So we used to play soccer a lot in the snow. And later on, it came back to the fall season. So it was in competition for players in football and soccer. The coaches didn't like that very much because they lost some of their players to one team or the other during the fall session. And boxing was great, as I said before, and I keep punching away. Many times people would come up to me and say, what was it that you joined the Brothers? What made you join the Brothers? And I tell them, well, when I was in grade school, the parish school church was St. Vincent de Paul by Soulard Market, and St. Joseph nuns there was teaching us, and two of the nuns came to our house to visit my parents, and they told them, we think your son Leo should go to Chaminade and board there because he's been running around with some rough kids in the neighborhood. So I got to see the brothers. And I admired the brothers. There were 35 of them there at the school. Not one lay person, no, only one lay person was there taking care of the resident students and the day students. At that time, Chaminade was out in the country, and half the school was resident students, and the other half day students. So that made it pretty well understanding, where I saw the brothers doing everything in the school, cleaning the school, cutting the grass, doing the laundry, and everything else you would hire people for, brothers did it. And most of the time I would stay there over weekends rather than going home for the weekend, because if I went home, I would have had to work in the restaurant. And as a family person, we didn't get a salary. So I would enjoy the weekends where we went camping, playing all kinds of sports, and doing all kinds of things that youngsters like. And I thought to myself, I would like to be a brother. But I'm thinking that I'm not good enough, because the brothers really I admired. So my prefect that took care of the resident students, Brother Marion Belka, came up to me one time. He said, "You ever think of being a brother?" I said, "Yes, I did, and I don't think I'm good enough." He said, "Don't forget that." He said, "We'll take care of that." And they took care of it. And I joined the brothers, and I liked everything they did. And one of the first things they asked me was, "What would you like to do as a brother?" I said, "Food service." And they almost fell over. They always had to force people into it. And they let me do just about anything I felt was right to do in food service. One of the things, I spent 18 years in charge of the food service here at Chaminade, and I was responsible for suggesting the things that are in the present dining room and kitchen and so forth. We did a lot of banquets, Mother's Club, Father's Club, alumni. We just one after another, and everyone enjoyed it. And that was one of the things they asked me about. What did it cost you to go to as a student at Chaminade? And I says, well, at that time, it was $800 a year. And that included boarding, school, food, laundry, everything, $800. And the people in our neighborhood thought we were a wealthy family because we went to Chaminade. And it was a lot of fun. So I want to thank everyone, and I appreciate your being here, and I enjoy everything that the brothers in the religious order done for me. Thank you.
was listening to you talk, brother, I was thinking, 18 years, my gosh, what did he do for the other 52 years that he's been a brother? So there's more to learn about your great service to the Marianists. So thank you, Brother Leo. Congratulations. Certainly well deserved. It's my pleasure now to introduce Edward Rice of the class of 1956. Bud, as he was better known, played, let's do it. There we go. Bud, as he was better known, played basketball, football, and baseball at Chaminade and was widely considered to be one of the most gifted all-around athletes of his time. He was a star player on the baseball team that won the Catholic League Championship in 1954 and 1955. He was a member of the 1954 Catholic League champion basketball team and was named to the All-Catholic team in 1956. He was probably best known as a standout football player, being named to the All-Catholic team in 1955 and earning a scholarship to Notre Dame to play football. And tonight, Bud's son, John Paul, is here with us to accept this honor. On behalf of his father, John Paul, please come forward. It's my pleasure to present Edward A. Rice for induction into the Chaminade Sports Hall of Fame.
Good evening, and thank you to the Chaminade family and David Nola personally, who attended my father's funeral 2 years ago in January here in St. Louis, and saw what my sister and the Rossman family put together as an honor and a tribute to my father and his academic achievements, as well as his life in sports, going to Notre Dame, and also serving in the Army Reserve. Gentlemen behind me here all came with jackets, and I planned to as well. But in my emotion and haste to get up here from Atlanta, I forgot my suit. So thank you for the jacket. I'm here to honor my father, Edward Alexander Rice, better known as Bud or Buddy. And I accept this prestigious honor on his behalf. I'm joined today by my sister, Katie, my dad's sister, Mary Kay, the Rossman family, and 4 of his Chaminade classmates and teammates from 1956, Andre, Gil, Jack, and Tom. My father was born in 1938, just one year before the start of World War II. His father, who was an entrepreneur here in St. Louis, came from a sports-minded family where they played baseball, basketball, football, soccer, and golf, anything and everything. He shared that love with his son, my father, who in turn gave that love of sports to me through Cardinal and Atlanta Braves baseball, along with Notre Dame football, because of his Irish roots. He attended Chaminade here when it was a boarding school, although he was coming and going, but he started here in 4th grade and then graduated in 1956 as a senior. He went on to graduate from the University of Notre Dame with a Bachelor of Arts and then went into the Army Reserve. He later married my mother, had a family of 4, and he invented the product Crud Cutter, which some of you may know. But I look back on all of this and I ask, what does it all mean? 66 years later, from a graduation year. And I thought about it, and I saw the relationships, the community, culture, the family. Because this place became part of his family. The relationships that he forged in his grade school and high school years, he maintained them 6 decades later. It was the things that he loved that kept him going, the things that he could share with his children. And then towards the end of his life, my father would meet up with his Chaminade friends, his family, once a month to have lunch. It gave him something so much to look forward to in the later years of his life when his health had deteriorated. But he loved them, and they loved him. And I look at it and say, over 6 decades later, those relationships forged through sports extended beyond championships, trophies, individual accomplishments in the box score. It was a rich tradition with a family that made him feel like a champion, a Hall of Famer, and a man. Thank you all very much for this great honor for my father, and thank you to the Chaminade family for making this possible.
Thank you, John Paul. Well done. I'd now like to introduce Larry Ruzicka from the class of 1974. Larry played baseball, basketball, and ran track during his time as a student athlete at Chaminade, but is most known for his presence on the gridiron. Larry played football all 4 years in high school and was named captain his senior year when he helped to lead the team to a second place in the Catholic Athletic Conference. He was such a standout player that he was also named All-State that year. Larry was a core member of the 1972 second-place state championship team and was inducted into the Hall of Fame as a member of that team in 2013. By the way, the 1972 team will be celebrating the 50th anniversary of that amazing season in October at our annual Celebrate Chaminade event, where they'll be recognized at halftime of the football game. To top off his Chaminade athletic career, Larry was named as the St. Louis Post-Dispatch Scholar Athlete in 1974. Larry, please come forward. It's my pleasure to present Larry Ruzicka for induction into the Chaminade Sports Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you all for being here tonight. And help me get this paper open. I'm truly honored and humbled and thrilled to be a member of this year's Hall of Fame class and to join the group of men who are already in the Chaminade Hall of Fame. I was not expecting this honor. In fact, when I was first contacted, I thought there must have been a mistake, and they wanted to honor one of my many cousins who are also Chaminade alums. Some of them are here tonight, in fact. I was, however, very fortunate to be a member of some very good teams that won and lost as a group. And that was and continues to be the essence of Chaminade sports. We were coached by some outstanding men and mentors like Don Olms, Ed Donahue, Brother John McCarthy, Walter Risch, Mike McKee, among others, and many of these men are already in the Hall of Fame. These men led us to think as a team, play as a team, and succeed as a team. Upon graduating from Chaminade, the value of teamwork was an asset that we were able to take with us. And I will tell you that to this day, I believe one of the better feelings in life is sharing a success with a group of coworkers, family members, or any other type of team. In closing, I want to thank the coaches, the teammates, guys from 6th grade on, and guys from Augustinian and McBride. the teachers, the classmates from the class of '74, and the Hall of Fame committee for this honor, and for putting me in a position to succeed. And finally, I want to thank my parents, my lovely wife, Susan, and my family. Estovir.
Congratulations, Mr. Ruzicka. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce Coach Kelvin Lee. Kelvin served as the varsity basketball head coach from 1997 to 2013. His coaching resume includes more than 275 victories, the 2009 Class 5 state championship, 6 district championships, 9 MCC championships, and being named MCC Coach of the Year 7 times. During his time as coach, Kelvin touched the lives of nearly 300 Chaminade basketball alumni, including 4 NBA players, David Lee, Bradley Beal, Tyler Cook, Jason Tatum. He was a teacher, a mentor, a coach, a friend, and now he is a proud Hall of Famer. Without a doubt, Chaminade's basketball program would not be where it is today without the contributions of Coach Kelvin Lee. Kelvin, please come forward to receive your blazer. It is my great pleasure to present Coach Kelvin Lee for induction into the Chaminade Sports Hall of Fame.
Coach Moore, I heard you laughing back there a few seconds ago. I'll get you later. Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without him, I wouldn't be standing here today or tonight. Seriously, 2 years ago, I almost passed away. And again, I had 2 blood clots in my lungs. And again, it was a serious matter, and it wasn't time for me to go. The Lord said I still have work to do. I wasn't down here on this earth, and I got to take care of my kids and my family. So again, thanks to the Lord for that. I want to thank President Todd Guidry, Principal Phil Rohn, Athletic Director Tom Fernandez, and the entire Chaminade leadership family for making this night possible for me to be here and to receive such an award. I want to thank my family, my Lee family. Again, they drove in from Florida, flew in from South Carolina. My oldest brother, Sydney, my sister, Alicia, and Sydney's daughter, Sydney, and my entire family back here, right here sitting. And there's a man sitting right next to my sister right now. I consider him part of my family as well. And that's Larry Young and his wife, beautiful wife, Nancy. They're part of my family as well. So he's been with me since I was here at Chaminade and ever since, everywhere I've been. So he's a part of my family. I love that guy. Okay, and again, you guys wonder why I'm very competitive, I'm very passionate. It's because everything starts at home. And my brothers, he can tell you, we had some battles growing up, and they used to beat up on me. And I probably have terminal brain damage from getting knocked upside the head a lot from my oldest brother. But again, there's one family here that mirrors my family that holds a dear place in my heart as well. A very competitive family, and you guys know who it is. It's the McKee family. John and Cooper, Claire, those guys, they're very competitive. They're just like my family growing up. We used to battle each other growing up. So again, the McKee family is very dear to me because they took my nephew, Kenny Lee, in, and they took care of my nephew, Kenny. So again, I want to put that shout out to the McKee family as well. My kids, Mackenzie and KJ. Everything I've done in life revolved around them. I'm so proud of what they've done in life growing up. Mackenzie is special because, again, she's part of this Chaminade family as well. If you guys remember, Susan Lee made her cheerleader outfit when she was a little kid. She used to run around that gym and being a cheerleader for Chaminade. And then, I'll never forget this. This is a moment, and I was in tears this particular night. We played CBC in a packed house in our gym, and she sang the national anthem before our game. That was a special night for me that night. It touched my heart to hear her sing. I closed my eyes and soaked it all in. So now she's an aspiring nurse, graduated from Mizzou's nursing school. And again, at St. Mercy's, now St. Luke's Hospital, working. And now she's in her first year of doctorate school at Webster University, anesthesiology. So she's gonna make a lot of money one of these days. Take care of daddy. And she just got engaged. She's gonna get married. And her husband-to-be, Wyatt Morgan, couldn't make it tonight, but he's a great guy. He graduated from, played football at Lindenwood. She had to do that to me too. Brought that big guy home, and I said, the bigger you are, the harder you fall. You better take care of my daughter. But again, he graduated from chiropractic school at Logan, and he's practicing a lot of chiropractic now. But Mackenzie, you're smart. You took care of daddy. You're gonna be a doctor. That's all I need at 62 years old is a doctor and a chiropractor. So thank you, Mackenzie. And my son, KJ. Again, I'm proud of him because, again, he has just had a stellar freshman year at Western Illinois University. And again, he grew up as well. By freshman year, he was right here with me, and all of a sudden my head did like that. He's 6'8" now. But again, I'm proud of your son. Continue to hit the books. And he's majored in journalism at Western Illinois as well. So again, I love you guys. You guys are my rock. You guys always have. I've always had your back, and I'm going to be there for you. Thank you. This is not all about me. This is about a lot of people in this room. You don't receive these awards if you don't have help along the way, and I've had great help. Before I moved into the Chaminade family, one guy showed up. I didn't think he was going to show up tonight. I had no idea, but he's an assistant coach of mine at U City right now, and he holds a special place with me as well. He's been with me in St. Mary's now at U City. That's Maurice Jeffers sitting right here. Let's give a shout out to Maurice Jeffers. Some of you guys can relate to him. He's a hell of a player at St. Louis University for Lorenzo Romar there. So thanks, Maurice, for coming. Appreciate you, man. Kenny Lee as well. I see you sitting right there, boy. I got to talk about Kenny. Kenny's my nephew, and again, we went through that tragic accident, but again, he's overcome that. He gets around better than anybody in here. He can drive, he flies, he gets around. But again, Kenny's my guy. Again, thanks for being here, Kenny, and I'm gonna talk about you a little bit later as well. That's Kenny Lee, my nephew. We got time. So some of you guys know I can talk. And Todd Guidry, I'm sorry, but you said 3 to 5 minutes. I timed this thing, and I think it's going to go a little bit over more than 5. I told my brother today, I said, what can happen now? And they going to fire me now or what? Hey, man, we've already been through that once already, haven't we? So again, we're good. Hey, leadership starts at the top. Starts at the top. And that's where it all began in 1997 when the late Father Ralph, Jim Gurker, the principal, and Tom Fiala, who happens to be the best athletic director I've ever worked for, hired me. And then, and I didn't know at the time, but I was the first African-American teacher here at Chaminade and the first African-American coach in the Metro Catholic Conference League. And that's again, you put that in the books because, again, next year, I'd like for you, again, Todd Guidry, you can make this happen, okay? Black History Month, I want you to announce me over the intercom. All right? Recognize me during that month. There's a man out here right now that I want to give a shout out to as well. Very instrumental in me being here. His name is Jim Schulte. And again, I worked at camp before I was hired. There was Rich Garard's basketball camp here at Chaminade. And every day we do stations. And during my station, I'd always look up, and there was this old man. Again, he's looking, just staring at me. I'm like, what the heck? Why is this guy staring at me? Come to find out, he ran back to the administration office and told Mr. Gherkin Fiala, you should hire this guy. And again, I appreciate you, Mr. Coach Schulte, for having that insight to see something in me to go back and tell the administration that for me. I appreciate you. But also, my favorite thing about Jim Schulte is when David Lee was here, North Carolina was recruiting it. And a great coach from North Carolina walked in the door and over in Jergens, a small gym, and ran right into Jim Schulte. And Jim Schulte said, oh, how you doing? What's your name? And Jim Schulte forgot his name. He started stuttering. I can't, he couldn't remember. That was so funny to me. I just had to bring that up, Jim. I had to, again, I'm sorry for shouting up, but shout out to Jim Schulte. Give him a hand, guys. He's a great man here. Here's Chaminade. I never imagined lasting or being here 16 years. A lot of people thought I was going to go back into college ball after 3 years, but people don't understand me. If I'm happy, I'm happy. And happiness means more to me than anything. Then my kids were born. There's no way I was going to leave my kids either. But again, I had a vision for where I wanted to go with Chaminade. Mike Gavain, the great soccer coach, advised me when I got the job. He said, take your time. It took him a while to get his soccer program going. Just take your time. You'll get it going here at Chaminade as well. But I appreciate Mike for giving me those kind words. I hired the best assistant coaches I can hire. Again, like I said, I can't do this alone. I want to thank Mike Massa, Phil Thornburg, Vince Hawkins, Frank Bennett, who's doing a phenomenal job with the program now. He's taking this thing and taking it to new heights as far as I'm concerned. And Gary Lee. And we don't want to talk about Gary. But there's one assistant coach that's very dear to my heart, and that's Doug Taylor. Doug helped me make that transition from being a college coach to a high school coach. And some of my players here tonight, you guys better thank Coach Taylor because he saved you guys plenty of times. Because I was so mad at you guys, I was running you guys till I got tired, and he walked over and leaned in my ear and said, Coach, they've had enough. But Doug, you're truly a lifelong friend of mine. Lifelong, man. Friends for life. Thanks. Thanks, Doug. Love you, man. I honestly, God, I say that I love you. From the bottom of my heart, man. I would never forget my first team. And I'm going to name some names here. And again, if I miss someone, I don't want to have an episode like Will Smith. Please don't walk up here and slap me. There was Ben Pranger, Joe Beeline, Dave Lifos, Richie Mullen, Kevin Prag, Vince Brennan, Brian Shelton, Andy Twaddell, John Lucan, and that was a good group. That was a group, to be honest with you. I would never forget Richie Mullen leaving his car in the parking lot. And it would stay out there for days, and it would rain. The guys would put that with prank. They would go out there and roll the windows down. It would rain in that car, and it'd be stinking. And Richie would never take it home. I don't know why. But again, that was Richie Mullen. But those guys, that was a great group, and we won a lot of games. We won 4 games that first year. But I tell you what, we coached them up. We had a lot of fun, and they were very competitive, and that's all you can ask. That's probably our best coaching year that year, winning 4 games. And then along came names like David Lee, Ted Morris, Frank Bennett, Kenny Lee, Kyle Snetgoki, Mike Hart, and Graham Bailey. That's when the program really took off. And also, it took off, but again, you see my hair? It's full gray now. That's when the gray hair started coming to my hair, when you started getting those great players, I'm here to tell you. That was supposed to be a joke. There was Monroe Douglas Jr., Vaughn West, Tommy Williams, Drew Abadessa, Pat McCool, Tim Garnett, and Andrew Walkie, and that team. I laughed so much in my life. Those guys should have been comedians, but they were so fun to be around. I remember being at St. Thomas Aquinas. We had a game, and we were playing the championship game. And again, we had breakfast, and we have a team meeting. And before we can get back to the meeting room, they had already gone back there, and those guys remembered every one of my one-liners. Gosh almighty, get a look about you, and all that stuff, and wrote them up on my chalkboard. I told those guys to get the heck out of here and go get ready to play. We don't need to meet. They were so funny. And then there was Tim Clark, John Simon, Paul Brennan, Carl Givens, Alfred Nelson, Bobby Keeney, Casey Ellinger, Ben Kinzel, Jason McLean, Thomas Martin, Danny Size, Rob Givens, Tim Satori, Stephen Locke, and well, Lord knows Big Dave Schmidt. Again, more gray hair. And I can never forget the time we were warming up at Vianney, and Mrs. Bill walked up to me with a little fourth grader. She informed me that I was going to get this kid when he got old enough to enroll at Chaminade, and that was Bradley Bill. She also said that he was going to be better than anybody she's ever had, any of the other boys in her family. She just knew it at the time about her son and how he was going, where his projected path was going to go. That team with Christian Suntrup, Brendan Kelly, Brendan Hanna, David Novstein, Denzel Martin, Tevin Evans, Luke Bumgardner, Daniel Gross, Kevin Rawl, Brandon Lockhart, Giovanni Ferrar, Aaron Lombardo, and who can forget my trusted manager, Billy Swarzy. As a matter of fact, there's a couple more of my managers out here in the audience today. Where's Francis Slay? There he is over there. There's another one out there. Raise your hand. Where you at? There's another manager. My man right here. There's another manager out here. But I couldn't have did it without those guys. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. But again, that was the 2009 state championship team. Then along came Andy Kleinlein, who holds a special place in my heart. I used to call him Opie. He looked like a plain old white guy. But I tell you what, he can shoot that ball. Come on now, come on. You loosen up a little bit, guys. Come on now, man. Come on. You got to remember the Opie, all right? But again, he can shoot that ball, and he holds a special place in my heart. I love those guys. Jack Hummel, Damon Patterson, Grant Hollander, and Garrett Roberts, they left their mark on the program as well. And probably the best class to come to Chaminade, Jason Tatum, Will Glasson, Tyler Cook, and Mikey Lewis, and that group of players that came through here. TJ and those guys. Again, we had a lot of fun. I only had them 1 year, but again, that was a special year for me. I worked the heck out of it. And Tyler Cook, I see Tyler today, all I got to do is say, dummy. He'll shake. But again, every day in practice, when he gets soft on me, I take him and beat him with that football dummy every day on the side basket. A wise man once said, the two most important days of your life is the day when you were born and the day when you find out why. The morning the Lord placed his hands on me and called me to coach, I knew that was my why. I love what I do. I'm in the Hall of Fame of my high school in Crestview, Florida. I'm in the Hall of Fame at St. Louis University. And on August 23rd of this month, I will be inducted into the Missouri Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. But you know what? This place right here, Chaminade, will always hold a special place in my heart. I have a lot of memories here and a lot of friends. KB, Mr. Frayne, Coach Morgan, I love you guys, man. I never said that to you, but I say it now since I never see you guys anymore. KB, I'm sorry I drove you crazy in PE class, but I was there. I'm gonna leave by saying again, Estrovir, be a man. I've carried that with me everywhere I've been. There's some of the values that Chaminade instilled in you as a person that's followed me, those good habits. St. Mary's, which is another youth city as well. I still those values in those players as well. There's a recipe for life, and I believe in that. But it started right here at Chaminade. That was my first job, and as a high school coach. Started right here. So again, I want to thank everybody. I want to congratulate you guys as well. Estovir, thank you. God bless. Good night.
Congratulations again, Coach. Our final candidate for induction tonight is a man who really needs no introduction, Father Ralph A. Seifert. Father Ralph was a pillar of our Chaminade family, serving as president for nearly 35 years. Of Chaminade's 22 state championships across 8 sports since 1974, Father Ralph was president for 20 of them. We are who we are as a school because of Father Ralph. Our strong academic, extracurricular, and faith development programs, our financial stability, our world-class campus, our deep embrace of the Marianist charism, and the loyalty of our faculty, staff, alum, and parents are all a direct result of Father Ralph's leadership. Father Ralph snapped tens of thousands of photos of events, athletics, and activities every year. He printed dozens of pictures and posters for our students to be displayed around campus. Father Ralph once said, "I discovered that photographing students' activities was a great way to connect with them. And it blossomed into an interest that served what I was trying to do in my ministry." He was a spirited presence and greatly enjoyed connecting with parents, students, and alum. He was the embodiment of our school motto, Estovir, and at Chaminade, the meaning goes even deeper. Father Ralph was a good man, a faithful man, a respectful and kind man, and a courageous man. Father Ralph was Chaminade sports' biggest fan. And tonight, Father Oscar Vasquez, Provincial of the Society of Mary, will come forward to accept this honor on behalf of Father Ralph. Father Oscar. It's my pleasure to present Father Ralph Seifert for induction into the Chaminade Sports Hall of Fame.
I had prepared remarks. Dr. Guidry included them all. So thank you, Dr. Guidry. But what I would say on behalf of my brother, Father Ralph Seifert, I say thank you to Chaminade, to the committee, and most importantly to all of you for recognizing him tonight. I think Father Ralph was very proud of being a Chaminade man and was Chaminade for many, many years. Father Ralph taught me 2 things in the years that I lived with him. And the first thing would be keep it short. And then the second thing that he taught me was not to speak about him, but to speak about Chaminade. Today, he would want me to say thank you to the wonderful faculty, the staff, the administration, and all the coaches, because you are what makes all of this happen and what makes it possible and what gives our young men the memories which they take, and most importantly, the men that they become when they leave, when they live Estovir. So that would be the first thing. And then the second thing, he would just want me to speak and to say to all of these men, congratulations, congratulations to all of you who are out there in the red jackets. And then he'd also want me to say to you to continue to support Chaminade, to make it and take it to the next level, as we want our school to be out there among all the Catholic high schools. So Estovir, and thank you very much. God bless.
Thanks. Thank you, Father Oscar. You know, tonight is certainly about athletic accomplishments of the men gathered behind me, the ones that we recognize. let's make no mistake, what we're really doing is expressing our gratitude for those who have embraced the motto of Chaminade Estovir, who have embodied the values of a Catholic marriedness to education, and our model student athletes for our current young men enrolled at Chaminade. And we will celebrate sports accomplishments because it does wonders for the life of a school. We really celebrate good men, and I think that's why we're here tonight. And so for one final time, I congratulate the great men of the induction class for the Sports Hall of Fame of Chaminade for the class of 2022. I was thinking about, inviting folks. We have an audience. Father Oscar kind of mentioned how important it is we continue to get the support of those impacted by a Chaminade education. And then I thought, Guidry, if you're smart, you will say to the golf team behind you that the golf tournament is like Tuesday, what is it, Dave? May 31st, and the president cordially invites you to be part of his group at the Chaminade Golf Tournament so I can win the golf tournament just once, because I've never really kind of even sniffed at it. So there's a plug, and if you guys are bored on the 31st, let me know. So I want to thank, in a very special way, maybe the most humble and modest guy involved in this whole thing, Dave Nolda, our alumni director. He spends an incredible amount of time. Come and be recognized. Thank you, Dave. Special note, 4 times a year maybe Dave wears his Chaminade red glasses, and it makes me so happy. So he is all Chaminade and all alum and cares very much about this place and about you all, our alumni. So thanks to Dave for your great work tonight. I want to thank you again for joining us, for all you've done to support Chaminade and for giving us the opportunity to be a part of your life. As you leave tonight, we've got coffee and dessert. I don't think the bar is open anymore. Thanks again for coming, and congratulations to the class of 2022. Good night, everyone. Great work, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Congratulations again. Yeah, appreciate it. Keep the lights up. Nice to meet you. Pleasure. Safe travels. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming.
Please keep the lights up on the stage.
Classmates.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Guys, we want to get a group picture before anybody goes anywhere.
I should take this. Group picture.